lovely. We're just here playing some chords on the bass, enjoying our instrument and learning new things. So that's what we're here to do today. We're going to be talking about chords and specifically about 10th chords, which is kind of a cool thing that we get to do here on the bass. And so we're going to go over basically a little bit of the theory behind what that means, as well as go over an exercise so that you can practice it while you are not here watching the video in real time, but maybe just kind of hanging out and working on some stuff. And if you want to get tab or notation, anything like that for this exercise, please head over to my Patreon page. It's really awesome to have your support there, and you can get all kinds of the accompanying things for this lesson and all the other ones here at this channel. So head over to Patreon. But in the meantime, let's learn a little bit about chords. So, chords can get to be really complex, but they can also be very simple if we think about what a chord actually is, which is when we basically play more than one note at a time. Now, the interesting thing is that, we're bass players, and bass is primarily a monophonic instrument, meaning we love to play just one note at a time, as opposed to polyphonic instruments like guitars or piano, where, you can get away with playing a lot of notes at once and hearing a full chord. So on the bass, we have to be a bit aware of how to play a chord, how to express a chord, and one of the cool ways to do it, to kind of like dip our toes into the polyphonic world, is by using what we call a 10th chord. Now, to do this, we're going to be playing in the key of A, and we're going to kind of settle here at around our 5th fret A. And again, there are different types of chords. If we were to play a power chord, that'd be like the root in the 5th. It's a real rock and roll kind of thing. But we're going to talk more about major and minor chords, where we're pretty much going to think about a triad, root, 3rd, and 5th, and how we typically think about that as a basic chord. If we play a major triad, we have a root, a major 3rd, and a 5th. A minor triad, we would play the root, a minor 3rd, and a 5th. And we can hear that. But it can be a little dicey to play 3 notes at once if we were to play all those together on the bass. So what we're going to do is we're going to let somebody else take responsibility for the 5th of our root, 3rd, and 5th. And we are just going to play the root and the 3rd. Now, the reason why that's important is because the 3rd of a chord determines whether something is major or minor. So again, if we think about our triad, the root and the 5th can stay the same. It's that 3rd that will be major or minor. So the chord we're going to play today is called a 10th chord, where we're going to play our root note, this A right here, and then we're going to play the 3rd. But if we were to play that 3rd here, it kind of can sound pretty muddy, and that's because what we call the voices of the chord, meaning the notes of the chord, we'll call each note a voice. The voices are very close together. This root and the 3rd are right there, so they're very close. So what we want to do is we want to separate those voices a little bit, add some space. Oh yeah, what a nice sound. We're going to let it ring. And when we do that, when we kind of add a little space within our chord, we get to hear a really nice sounding major chord. So to do that, I'm going to play my root note, my 3rd. Instead of playing the C sharp here, I'm going to take it up an octave. And I'm going to play the C sharp here on the 6th fret of my G string. Now, if we play the root note A, and then that C sharp, that 3rd, an octave higher to this one, higher one, it's like, wow, there's that space. And the reason why we call this a 10th chord is because if we were to count up our octave and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I just major scaled my way from this A to this A. If I were to restart the scale and continue counting, with 8 being the root note, A, the 9th being B, the 10th being C sharp, bingo, that's what we needed. That C sharp is really the 10th, which is also just our major 3rd an octave higher. So instead of playing the C sharp here or here, we have A, C sharp, and A, C sharp. I'm using my lower A and my higher C sharp, that 10th above, to have a nice major chord with the spreading of the voices here. Now, as you play this, I like to use my middle finger for the root note and then my pinky for that major third, and you'll see that it's 1 fret higher. So if my root note is here on the 5th fret, that major third is going to be on the 6th fret on the G string. Now, if I were to make it a minor third, the difference between a major chord and a minor chord is that third. We're going to take that major third, take it down a half step. Ooh, all of a sudden it is a minor third. We went from like, oh wow, ice cream, to, oh no, my ice cream fell off the cone and landed on the floor, and I'm extremely sad, devastated in fact. Happy, ice cream, sad, on the floor. Major and minor chords in the world of ice cream. But here we have our major 10th. Here's our minor 10th. Now you can see that all I did again was take that third, take it down a half step, and as I do that, I'm going to be using my ring finger now for the third, and my middle finger will stay in the same place, and you'll see that now I'm on the same fret. So a minor chord, you'll see that I'm playing on the 5th fret on both strings, versus major chord, that pinky, that 10th, is 1 fret higher. Minor, major. Now to kind of practice this in a more musical way, what we can do is we can kind of walk up our A major scale, and magically we have some chords that are major and some chords that are minor. What I'm going to do here is an exercise where I'm going to go A, which is scale degree 1, B, scale degree 2, C sharp, which is scale degree 3, D, which is scale degree 4, and back down. C sharp, B, A. So really I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I'm just moving my scale up the E string. That means that I can now play that higher 10th on the G string. So I can play my major chord on the A. My B is going to be a B minor, so we can use our minor pattern. The C sharp is going to be minor as well. The D is going to be major, and then minor on the way down for that C sharp, minor on the B, and then we finally return to A with A major. Now what this lets you do is it just makes a very musical exercise, so to say, out of playing these 10ths and getting used to hearing major versus minor and then moving it up the fretboard. From a right hand perspective, what we can do is you can either assign a finger per string, like you could say, oh, I'm going to use my index finger to hit the notes on the E string and then my middle finger to hit the notes on the G string. Or you can use your thumb to hit the notes on the E string and then your index finger to hit the notes on the G string. So depending upon your playing style, you can try one or both, and that's a really cool thing to practice as well from a right hand or plucking hand standpoint. So again, if you want to get tabla notation for this exercise, please head over to my Patreon page. You'll be able to find it there. But in the meantime, this is a really great introduction into chords on the bass, and I hope that you are able to take it into your musical world, your musical journey, your practice space, whatever that is, and get some work in understanding these chords. So hope you dug this lesson. Happy practicing, everybody. Keep it groovy.